Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very exciting video that has been in the makings for a while now. We are going to be doing a manifestation Q&A video today, okay? I feel like there's always so many questions in my comment section, so many things that people are struggling with that they just don't have the answers to, and as amazing as I am, I just sadly do not have the time or the mental capacity to go through and answer every single question that you guys might have. And so I made a post on my YouTube channel a couple days ago, basically asking you guys if you had any questions that you would like me to answer in regards to manifestation, personal experiences in your life, areas that you're struggling with, or simply just concepts in manifestation that you don't fully understand. And I wanted to make a video going through each of those and just giving you guys my personal experiences, my guidance, my 2 cents on each of these questions, okay? So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Now, the first question is going to be asked by Lady Austin, and they ask, what are your thoughts on revision? Now, I feel like I get this question very often in my comment section. I feel like a lot of people are curious about revision as a manifestation concept, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I never really have used revision before. I think it is very powerful, and I've done my fair share of research on the concept. Revision, for those of you who don't know, is basically a concept in which you revise your past. You basically write a completely new story about your past experiences to help you shift your identity, to help you shift your mindsets and beliefs. Because for a lot of people, let's say you're trying to manifest weight loss, you have the story and identity of growing up being overweight, having the mentality of being a person who has always struggled with their weight, always had a bad relationship with food. And so revision goes into your past and basically says, no, I've always had an amazing relationship with food. No, I've always had my dream body. You know, I've always felt so good and comfortable in my skin and my physique. I guess I do revision, but just not in the exact way that people talk about doing revision. I definitely think revision is extremely powerful. However, I think I just do it in a different font, honestly. And the way that I would say that I do revision is just through identity shifting. And so I tell myself, no, I do have a good relationship with food. No, I do have my dream body. No, I do love working out. No, I do enjoy doing all the things that the highest version of me who has my dream body does. And I just don't look at it as my past in a sense. And I just look at it as who I am now, shifting that identity and my self-concept in this present moment, and then applying that to who I am in this moment and my future actions. Next is going to be asked by Miss 𝐾𝐉𝐈 and they ask, do you do affirming sessions? Now, I will say, honestly, no. I feel like for me, manifestation and using the law of assumption is a lot of my identity. It's a lot of my mindsets and my beliefs that I've been building up over the years. And in all honesty, I really don't affirm very often. I do affirm every once in a while when I really think about it and I really think about a specific manifestation that I really badly want, and I tell myself, okay, cool, like I'm so amazing, I'm so beautiful, I have my dream body, I have my dream partner, I'm so wealthy and rich, and I'm so abundant, blah, blah, blah. But in all honesty, I don't just like sit down and have a whole session to myself where I'm like, all right, 20 minutes, we're gonna sit here and just start spamming affirmations in my mind. Like, no. Maybe when I first started manifesting, but nowhere near now in my life do I ever really do that. I think for me, it's just about how you act on a daily basis. It's just about your natural state of being at the end of the day. And so for me, I just tell myself positive things throughout my day. When I look in the mirror, I compliment myself and I say I'm so beautiful and I love how I look. When I see myself in a photo, I point out all the things that I love about myself in that photo. I point out how much I love my teeth, how much I love my hair, how much I love my body, whatever. And I just try to have an internal dialogue of just extremely positive affirmations already, to the point where I don't really need to affirm anything because I already believe that I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I'm attractive, I'm magnetic, and that's just like my natural state of being internally. Next is going to be by Ridiculously Serious, and they asked, what are your thoughts on soulmates? I used to manifest my first crush with everything I had, and it wasn't as graceful as I wanted it to be, aka he made me cry several times, to the point that I don't want him anymore, even though we are friends now. And now that I have a new crush, I'm scared to manifest or even want him. I just want my soulmate, even if it is not my new crush, because like my new crush has had girlfriends before and it's kind of popular in life, and that scares me. What if one of those girls is his soulmate and I'm better off not even wanting him in the first place? He does help me platonically, which is sweet. The dude's so freaking kind and hardworking. He's a whole man, and I don't even know how to have a boyfriend. Scroll emoji. I don't want to him if he's not meant for me, because that's not fair to him. He deserves the best. I don't know which mindset to stick to. Whoever's meant for me will find me, and I don't have to do anything. If he's not obsessed with me, I don't want him. I'm always writing too much. Sorry, can you skip if no thoughts pop up? Okay. First off, it is very apparent that there is a level of desperation here. But anyways, the real question was, what are your thoughts on soulmates? I genuinely do believe in soulmates. I think soulmates are real. I do think that some people just have this spiritual energetic connection with one another that is just impossible to replicate. I honestly feel like all of my best friends in my life right now are my platonic soulmates. They just get me on such a degree, on such a level that makes me feel so seen and heard and understood. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned with soulmates is that it doesn't feel like you have to translate yourself for them to understand you. It doesn't feel like you have to go out of your way to get this person to understand what you're trying to say. Like, you could say the weirdest thing. You could say something that doesn't even make complete sense, and they would get exactly where you're coming from. They would get exactly what you're trying to convey. Let me see. Is there another question in here? I think if it's your soulmate, it will flow. Every single experience I've ever had, whether it was with a romantic partner or a best friend, when it felt like they were a soulmate connection, even with my ex, it always just flowed. It was so easy. It was so natural. There was really no anxiety besides my own internal triggers and struggles that I had to work through. But the dynamic with my ex and all my super close friends just feels like easy. It's just relaxing. Like, I don't think that your soulmate would make you stress out. I don't think your soulmate would make you feel like crap at the end of the day. And I don't think your soulmate would make you feel like you're unworthy or that you're not good enough or that you need to become a different person in order to get them. So I would say if it doesn't naturally flow, if this person is not naturally romantically interested in you and they're not showing that on a daily basis, then I would say that it's probably not a soulmate. And I would say, honestly, to work on manifesting in your soulmate, because if you don't manifest in your soulmate, you might get like a karmic cycle, you might get a twin flame, and those can be beautiful and passionate and amazing, but they're just going to be filled with a crap ton of lessons. And that's also the thing, is that if you do manifest in your soulmate, you might even attract one of those types of partners in the first place, because maybe you are not at the version of yourself yet where you could sustainably hold on to your soulmate. So I would just say to just start manifesting in that partner, start manifesting in the soulmate. And if he doesn't seem clearly interested in you, I don't really believe in like manifesting people to completely do a 180 switch in their personality to be obsessed with you. I did that a couple times and it worked, and it always ended up being a scary experience, to say the least. So let people do what they want to do at their own free will, at least in this type of scenario. So God, I don't even know what this message said, honestly. Love you. Next question is by 𝐾𝐈𝐈. I think that's how you say that. Hi, can you please talk about energy vampires? Yes, I can. Because being an empath and just a very empathetic, emotional person, having 2 water signs and my main 3 star signs, God, I'm one of those people. I think energy vampires are so real. And you will know exactly when you're dealing with one of them when you leave an interaction feeling drained. And the thing is that energy vampires are not always aware of the fact that they are energy vampires. They're not always aware of the fact that they are draining to be around, that they are stealing and zapping your energy and like taking out of your cup. But they are very real, and you definitely need to learn how to protect your own energy, because as well, in my field of work that I do at one of my resort jobs, I am working with people all the time. Like, I am constantly interacting with new people, and sometimes I'm even working specifically on them, and it can be a very energetically and spiritually draining job. I've really had to learn how to protect and manage my own energy in that scenario. There's been a scientific study that's proven that you can feel someone's electromagnetic frequency like 8 feet away from them. And once your guys' frequencies start to almost commingle, you will start to naturally absorb each other's energy. And some people's energy can be at such a low vibration internally with the struggles that they're going with their own insecurities, their own limiting beliefs, their own triggers and traumas, that they can project that onto you. And I believe in the statement of you are who you associate with, because when I've had friends in my life, when I've had partners in my life that were really insecure, that were really toxic, and that were just really low vibrationally, those were all eras in my life that I was struggling so much. Like, I felt so insecure in myself. I doubted my own self-worth. I felt like I could not communicate with this person. And it was an insane experience because I feel like I'm amazing at communicating. I feel like I'm great at articulating how I feel and what I want with people in my life. And when it got to the experience when I was with a person and it felt like no matter what I was doing, this person just didn't understand me, and it made me feel like I was crazy and that I was this emotional overreacting person, I was like, yeah, no, that's not me. Like, that's you. That's your energy. And I was like, you're projecting. But anyway, I think energy vampires are completely real. And I think the biggest key telltale sign of them that you are interacting with them is that when you are with them, you will start to have feelings of insecurity, doubt, wavering beliefs, limiting beliefs about yourself and your own worth, and you will start to feel bad about yourself. In fact, when you hang out with certain people, I feel like you literally can get like uglier sometimes. Like, I will hang out with people, and you know how people talk about school air, how when you're at your school, it makes you uglier. I feel like when I'm with certain people, I leave the interaction and I'm like, wow, I look whipped right now. I look like I just got beaten across the face, okay? And I feel like that's a very telltale sign of energy vampires, because then I have other people in my life where when I hang out with them, I feel so beautiful. I feel like $1,000,000. I feel like I look like $1,000,000. I feel so good about my energy and my space. And there are certain people where when you leave dynamics with them, when you leave a hangout with someone, you feel recharged. You feel better about yourself. You feel like you are more secure in your own character. While there are some people where when you leave the certain experience, you feel worse about yourself. You feel drained. You feel like you are not good enough. You feel like there's something wrong with you. And I think that those people, you need to run for the hills, okay? Next is going to be a question by 𝓩𝓪𝓬𝓱 𝓢𝓽𝓾𝓽𝓼𝓶𝓪𝓷. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm botching any of these names. I'm trying my best. And their question is, how to be a master manifester? Are you into witchcraft? By the way, I love you. You are such an angel. So gorgeous. Love your energy. Always queen. Anyways, thank you. First question in that is how to be a master manifester. For me personally, becoming a master manifester, which is also a book that I wrote when I was 16. It's not that good, guys, but you know, I still did it. I think becoming a master manifester is a mindset. It is an identity. It is a way of viewing yourself. It is a way of viewing the world around you in regards to you and your energy. And I think for me, it was honestly just a switch in my beliefs. I think a lot of people view themselves as like beginners in manifestation, as not very good at manifesting, as this is not real, or I doubt the craft, or I don't know, it's just like a talent that some people have and other people can't do. And I think for me, it was just in realizing that manifestation is just a skill. And you can develop a skill overnight like that if you really wanted to, if you really dedicated yourself to learning about it, if you really dedicated yourself to understanding the nuances of you and your character, how you work, what your limiting beliefs truly are underneath the surface. And I think for me, I had been doing it for about a year and a half. And I just looked at myself one day and I was like, you know what? Like, you've manifested so many things in your life. You are a master at manifesting. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of getting off track, but I think the most important thing is just shifting your self-concept and just genuinely believing that in this exact moment right now that you are a master manifester. You have manifested every single thing in your life up until this point. Every little experience that you've ever had, every single person you've ever attracted into your life, the way that you currently look, the way that you currently act, who you are at your core, you have been manifesting all of that up until this point. Whether that was conscious or unconscious, you have been creating the reality that you are currently living. Once you hit like 16, 17, 18 years old, you really do start to manifest your own life, because at that point you become an independent person outside of your family and the cycles that they have brought you up in. And it's your choice how to create the story moving forward. And I feel like when it comes down to just being a master manifester, it's just identifying as someone who is good at manifesting, who is aware of their power and aware of the fact that you've been manifesting your life up until this point, and you take accountability over your life up until this point, okay? When I was really depressed and I was insecure and I was really unhealthy and really overweight and I was living an awful life, it was the hardest thing in the world to look in the mirror and say, yeah, you are here because of you. You are here because you continue to keep perpetuating the story in your life. You are here because, yes, maybe you weren't dealt the best cards, maybe you weren't dealt the best relationships with food by your family and their own struggles with it. However, that does not have to be your story moving forward. You have the pen in your hand now, babe. You can write the story you want to live. And I think for me, it was just realizing that in that exact moment. And the minute that I realized that, I was like, wow, okay. I was like, cool. So I am a master manifester. Great, thank you. And the next is, are you into witchcraft? I would say no, not right now in this point in my life. I was before I actually got into manifestation, I was into like the idea of witchcraft, but I don't think it was actually what witchcraft was. I just loved the aesthetic of it. I loved having a little journal that like, I'd be like, ooh, I'm writing my spells in here. And like, I'm mixing this herb, I'm mixing basil and thyme in a cup of water and putting it under the moonlight and drinking it, and it's gonna make me beautiful. I don't don't think any of it was real and like was actually religiously accurate to actual witchcraft, but it felt good when I was like 13 years old to do so. But no, I'm not really actually into any real witchcraft, I'd say, at this point in my life. I'm just really into like manifestation and spirituality and that type of stuff. Next question is going to be by mymelody1413, which is, how do you deal with wavering? Now, this is, I feel like, a nuanced topic, because doubt and wavering comes in depending on the type of thing you are manifesting. Like, you will have different resistance and limiting beliefs compared to manifesting your dream body, compared to a partner, compared to money. And I will say, for me, I'm trying to think of when I was originally manifesting, like back when I struggled with the concept a little bit more, because nowadays I don't really deal with wavering, because I just believe that whatever I set my mind to, wherever my intention goes, like my energy will flow and I will just manifest whatever I truly want. When I was first getting into manifestation, I realized that it was a really big thing. Like, it was a really big concept, I guess, to like wrap my head around. And I was like, I don't understand how people are just manifesting Lamborghinis and millions of dollars and new homes. And I was like, yeah, I don't really believe in that at first. And I remember I was like, you know what? I want to believe in that. And I want to not struggle with limiting beliefs of, oh, I can't have that, or I won't be able to manifest $1,000, or I won't be able to manifest my dream body. So I just started manifesting really small things that were honestly like coincidental. I would manifest my parents bringing me home McDonald's when I was a freshman in high school, or I would manifest growing an inch taller. And I think for me, I was already growing tall. So I was like, this is easy to believe. And I would manifest things that were easier to believe. And like, I would manifest my skin clearing up. I would manifest a person texting me. I would manifest smaller experiences that reinforced my belief in manifestation, so much so to the point where I honestly just believed, wow, this is real. Like, wow, this works. Wow, this actually can help me create the life of my dreams. And from that point on, I just didn't really waver with anything. I just looked at it as like, if I don't have this manifestation in my life yet, it's because I've not been intentionally putting enough of my energy into embodying it, or to doing the practices that we say that you need to do to manifest it. And so for me, it's like when I was manifesting my dream body, if I had times where I struggled with my body and I felt insecure in my own skin, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, yeah, I still don't like where we're at right now, I honestly just took accountability over that in that moment. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, you are identifying as a person who's not where they want to be right now with their body. So what would the person who is where they want to be with their body do right now in this moment? And then I would go on a walk, or I would eat a healthy dinner, or I would look at myself and be like, no, I do love you. Your body is amazing and you're doing great. I didn't struggle with the belief that manifestation was fake, because I did so many manifestations in my life that it was easy for me to wrap my head around the idea that this spiritual concept was real. So I hope that helps. Next question is by 𝓩𝓪𝓬𝓱 𝓢𝓽𝓾𝓽𝓼𝓶𝓪𝓷. Again, I don't think I'm saying any of these correct. But anyway, they said, were you always able to manifest smoothly from the start? You mentioned in a video that you got your weight loss results in the first morning after playing your subliminal overnight. I will say, again, it's like manifestation in different types of topics is nuanced. I really struggled to manifest money for the longest time. The idea of me manifesting in thousands of dollars or getting my dream job was always really difficult for me, because I had a really rough experience with the workforce growing up, and I got fired one time from a job, and I worked at really crappy jobs for a while, and I'm really grateful for those experiences because they really shaped me into who I am today. But the idea of making a lot of money, I just struggled with, and I was like, my God, like, I can't manifest that. And so I would say certain things, yes. I honestly never really struggled with manifesting physical appearance changes. I was really good at manifesting like a sharper jawline, or losing weight, or clear skin, or healthier hair, or darker eyebrows, or closing a gap in my teeth. Like things like that, I actually didn't struggle with at all. I really believed in it, and I was like, I can do this. I've already manifested weight loss. I've been manifesting like a sharper jawline, and I was obsessed with manifesting physical appearance changes. In fact, like I literally wrote all my insecurities on a notes app and was like, we're gonna do all of these, and I did all of them, and it was really bad, but I just loved it. And I think because I loved it and I really believed in it, they all came true and like really worked for me, and I didn't have much resistance with them. But yes, like romance and dating, I am really good at manifesting people into my life, but I struggled with a lot of my own triggers and insecurities and like my attachment style with certain experiences while dating. So while I could attract in a type of person and like a model worthy partner who had all these traits, I struggled sometimes with my own like triggers and stuff. And that's why they usually ended. And I think with money, like I said, for a while, I really struggled with that. And while I don't really struggle with money anymore, I will say that like, no, like I wasn't like perfect at manifesting smoothly. Like I wasn't a god at it by any means. You know, it's just like I said, it's like the way you were raised, the limiting beliefs that you subconsciously were programmed with around certain areas of your life. I think all of those can really affect how you manifest certain things in your life. So no. The next question is going to be from LuxVenus6, and they ask, what if I do everything right, live in the end, act as if, etc.? Are there still chances of it not happening? Basically of like my desire not manifesting, because somewhere inside we know that we're manifesting. So I would say no, honestly, there is no chances that it doesn't manifest if you are doing quote unquote everything right. I don't want to give this narrative though that like, oh, if you aren't manifesting what you want, if you struggle to manifest certain things in your life, that you are the problem, that you're doing something wrong. Because I think that that's not helping, obviously, and that's just going to create this mental identity of like, cool, like I'm not good enough, or I struggle to manifest, or I can't do this. And it's like, you don't want to have that type of story in your mind, because that story is what perpetuates you struggling to manifest. Because as we say a lot, the things that you internally believe is what will project and create your external reality. But with that being said, no, I honestly believe that if you're doing everything right, you will get your manifestation, because I think manifestation's so easy. I think people overcomplicate it, and I think everyone makes it this really big magical thing, and it's not. It's literally just like where your attention goes, your energy will flow. The experiences you truly believe about yourself are the experiences you will create in your reality and are the experiences that you will experience. And I think it's really simple at the end of the day. I think people make it out to be something really big because they want it to be this insane experience that solves all their problems, and I think it can, but there's a level of responsibility and accountability that comes with manifestation. And I think that that's probably where a lot of people struggle, because no one wants to sit here and say, okay, yeah, like I don't have my dream body because of me, or I don't have and can't keep my dream partners because of me, or I don't make a lot of money in my life because of me. And it's like, we want to blame other people. We want someone to come in and save us, and we want to play the victim a lot. And I just went on a long rant, and I think that that's okay. You know, it's hard. It is hard out here. However, I think honestly, no, like if you are doing everything right, and you are following all the steps, and you just genuinely believe that it's happening, like it always happens. That's been my experience with my own manifestations my entire life, and that has been the experience of countless of other people who manifest in their lives. I think the biggest thing that I would recommend for a lot of people is like, y'all need to go and start watching success story videos, and y'all need to go and watch and listen to people who have manifested in their dreams and have manifested in impossible things and experiences, because I've manifested in crazy things and things that are unexplainable by science, but there are people out there that have manifested like actually insane crap, okay? Like things that you're just like, in what planet Earth was that, you know, your experience? But next is a question by Dakota Faith, and they ask, what YouTube subliminal channels do you recommend? Are there ones you'd specifically recommend for different things, for money, appearance, self-concept, etc.? So when I was first manifesting and using subliminals, the main channel that I loved listening to was Mozamorph. I loved her subliminals. I thought she was so good at making them, and I literally felt the symptoms and feelings people always talk about with subliminals when I would listen to them. And I remember it was her weight loss subliminals that helped me lose weight. I also listened to this male subliminal that I really loved that was about like looking attractive and being successful and making a lot of money and all these things that I was like, yeah, like I like everything in this, so we're listening to that one. So her subliminals I love. I just think they're so good. If you especially love calming ones and like rain sound subliminals that you can just listen to overnight, hers are disgustingly powerful. Like I don't know what she puts in them, but it's just like, I listen to them for 10 minutes and I already feel things shifting in my life. The other ones that I love is I love Enchanted Workshop. I think that they have really calming and just beautifully made subliminals. They are so aesthetic and they just make me feel so good, and like I'm just romanticizing my life by listening to them. And then in all honesty, I just like to use my own. I just make my own, and I really love them and believe in them and use them whenever I can. So that would be that. Next question is by 2468 HSZDB Snack. I don't think that that's correct. And they asked, what are the biggest misconceptions people have about manifestation? And I love this question because I think it's really interesting. And like, I don't think people look at it in this way often. But the thing about manifestation is that it's so personal. It's something that is different for everyone, but it's also all under one big umbrella. Like, there's millions of manifestation coaches and teachers, Neville Goddard, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, all of these massive creators, and they all say slightly different things, but when you really study all of them, they all go back to the exact same teachings, and they are honestly just saying the exact same thing, just in a different font. I would say that there's honestly not a lot of like misconceptions. Like, if you do the 369 method and you got results from it, that's great. If it works for you, it works for you. I think that there's just a lot of overcomplication in some of these methods, and they make it out to seem like if you're not doing 40 affirmations every night, you're not scripting on a daily basis, you are not constantly living in the end, constantly embodying the state of being, constantly on a mental diet, constantly doing X, Y, and Z on top of that, then you're not gonna get your manifestation. And I think that those are boxes that we are putting ourselves in that we don't need to be putting ourselves in. I think for me, it's not that there's a lot of misconceptions. I think that there's just a lot of overcomplicating things and making things out to be what they're not, and like creating rules and boundaries when in manifestation there really is no rules or boundaries besides the ones you create. Next, and I honestly love this question, it's by I Love You Cherry, and they ask, how do you separate mental health from manifestation? For example, if there is something in the 3D that is really bothering you and affects you, how can you ignore it? Also, I love your videos, they help you a lot. Thank you so much. And I really love this question because I think that this is something that is not talked about enough in manifestation and the community of people who, you know, create their reality. And I think for me, in all honesty, I really don't separate my mental health from my manifestations. There is always going to be struggles in our 3D reality. We are put onto this planet to grow and to learn and evolve as humans and as people. And I think that there's a lot of avoidant tendencies within manifestation. There's a lot of times that we're like, no, just ignore it. Just act like it doesn't exist and then it'll go away. Don't give it attention and it won't persist. And it's like, those practices at the end of the day work. And I really do believe in them. I do believe that where your attention goes, your energy will flow, and what you are giving attention will continue to manifest in your life. So yes, if there is experiences in your life that you don't want to continue to perpetuate, then yes, you should not obsess over them. You shouldn't focus on them. However, that also comes with a narrative for a lot of people that they just shouldn't feel their emotions, that they just shouldn't react when something insane and awful happens in their reality. And when you come in contact with other people who are also manifesting things, and they might not be aware of their power, and they might be manifesting in crazy things into their reality every 5 minutes. I think that it would be extremely ignorant to say to just avoid everything happening in your 3D. I think one of the biggest and most important things within manifestation that I've learned is understanding and learning how to master your own emotions, how to master your reactions towards certain circumstances when they do not go your way in the 3D. Whether that is you gained 4 pounds overnight and you weighed yourself and you're like, oh my God, what the hell happened? Or whether or not someone said something really triggering to you that was really offensive, or whether or not you got fired from your job. Certain experiences are always going to happen in our lives. It's unavoidable to have a completely peachy green amazing life. And I will say from personal experience, I always have crazy shit happening in my life. I always have experiences that try to knock me down. And the biggest thing I've learned is that you need to heal and become aware of your own triggers, traumas, and wounds, because I heard this quote the other day that said that your buttons can only be pressed if there is a wound that plugs it into the wall, that gives it electricity. So no one can press your buttons if there's no wound or deeper fear or deeper attachment that is being triggered underneath the surface of it. I think the biggest thing I've learned is that you need to honor your emotions when they come, because you need to learn the lessons that it's trying to teach you. So when you have a negative experience happening in your 3D, and it doesn't coincide with what you were trying to manifest, that's okay. You can sit there and you can be emotional about it and you can cry about it for as long as you need to. And then you get over it and you learn the lesson that it's trying to teach you so that you can manifest and create a different experience for yourself. I think one of the biggest things people underestimate is the bridges of incidences. A lot of people don't understand the timeline that happens when you start manifesting a certain desire, because there needs to be an identity shift when you are manifesting manifesting in a new experience in your life. As I said, if you're trying to manifest in your soulmate partner, are you the version of yourself right now who can healthily communicate, who doesn't get triggered when, you know, they go and talk to another guy, when they go and talk to another girl? Are you the version of yourself who can sustain a healthy long-term relationship in the exact way that you want? And a lot of times we have to look at ourselves and honestly say, like, I don't think I am right now. I think I still have a lot of triggers and traumas that I need to work through right now. And so when you start manifesting in that soulmate, you will be put on experiences that teach you how to become the version of yourself you need to be to sustain and manifest in that type of dream partner. And sometimes those experiences can be really traumatic, can be really negative, can be really humbling towards our self-concept. And we need to grieve them and process them because that is the only way that you learn and grow from them. And so I feel like for me, whenever I have crazy experiences happening in my 3D, I look at it as what is the lesson here trying to teach me? I don't identify with it. I don't sit there and say, wow, okay, this person called me an idiot, so that must mean I'm really dumb and stupid. No, it doesn't matter. It says literally nothing about you. You cry, you process the emotion, you honor the fact you are human and that you're going through a human experience, and then you pick yourself up and you learn the lesson and you continue down the bridges of incidences, the road of manifestation until you get to where you want to be at. That is how we evolve. That is how we build a self-concept that is unshakable, where someone can throw as many rocks as they want to towards us, but it's not going to knock us down. It's not even going to affect us at the end of the day. And then lastly, because I have to leave for my work literally in negative 10 minutes, is going to be from 𝓩𝓪𝓬𝓱 𝓢𝓽𝓾. No, probably not. But we're going with it anyway. And they said, Zach, can you talk about shadow work and how we get into that? Especially if it's always been having this victimized experience in terms of physical appearances and also for studies who always experience setbacks, and just basically walk us through your steps you have done so far, etc. Thank you. So I would say for me, shadow work has honestly been one of the most pivotal and transcendent experiences in regards to my personal journey with manifesting my mental health, my personal growth and journey. And I would say that everyone should honestly be doing shadow work at the end of the day. But basically, the way to get into shadow work is extremely easy, in all honesty. In my opinion, I just love to journal when I'm doing my shadow work. I don't really need a fancy setup. I don't need anything crazy. I just need a pen and paper, honestly. So the way that you're going to do shadow work is you're going to identify triggers and wounds that are happening in your own personal being on a daily basis, okay? So if you notice that you are reacting in a negative way, if you notice that someone says something and you're coming off quite judgy, you're coming off quite dismissive, you are projecting your own feelings about that experience onto someone else in a way that clearly points at the fact that this bothers you, you have an attachment to something that is not healthy, or you just have an underlying fear in your own life, then that is a perfect place to start. We have this thing called the shadow. The shadow is basically the parts of ourselves that we suppress, we don't let see the light, we try to avoid, we try to act as if it doesn't exist, and we basically shame for having in the first place. For me, I used to be a very jealous and envious person. When someone had the body that I wanted, when someone was in a healthy relationship, when someone got good grades, when someone came from a wealthy family, I would be extremely jealous. And a lot of times jealousy points towards obviously things that you want in your own life that you feel like you are lacking and don't have. And so for me, I had to come to the root of why I had that jealousy in the first place, of where I felt like I was lacking and what I felt like that said about me at the end of the day. So the way that we do this is that you get your own journal, you got your own little piece of paper, your own pen, and you come up with a prompt. Now, a lot of times I don't like making my own prompts. I like going onto Google and searching up, all right, shadow work, jealousy prompts. And then you scroll through them and you basically find one or two that are calling you in that exact moment, that are speaking to you, that, you know, point at the wound that you can sense that you kind of have underneath the surface. And then you're going to write at the top of your page that exact prompt. And then you're going to write a little question mark at the end of it because they're usually questions. Then you're going to cut out all the distractions, phone on do not disturb, no music in the background unless you want like some nice little calming, healing frequencies, but nothing that's going to distract you. And you are going to just sit there and you're going to start to have a conversation with yourself. You are going to journal about where this experience comes from, about why you feel the way you do, and about why it affects you as much as it does. And for me, in all honesty, every time I did shadow work, I literally started like breaking down. Like I started crying so much because it made me aware of things that I never knew about myself and that I never knew had so much power over me and were controlling me so much. And in all honesty, the biggest thing in shadow work is that the minute that you become aware of this experience, of this trauma or this trigger, you shine light on it. And once you shine light on it, it doesn't have any power over you to affect you anymore. It can't bother you because it now is not something that you are giving power by suppressing it, by giving it shame, by fearing it. So I think for me, it honestly was just one of the biggest things that helped me change and grow into the version of myself that I wanted to be and establish confidence in my own character, because there's nothing about me that someone else can say that I don't already know, that I'm not already aware of. It helps you to take your power back and to grow and evolve into the version of yourself you want to be. And especially in regards to manifestation and your self-concept, it really helps in honing down your identity and your character and allowing you to become the version of yourself you want to be, instead of constantly snapping back like a rubber band into the old previous version of yourself who had limiting beliefs, traumas, triggers, resistance towards whatever story they were trying to create in the now. And that is going to be it for the Q&A, everyone, today, okay? I'm really, really sorry if I did not get to everyone's questions. There was a lot. I think right now there's literally over like 45 on here. If you guys enjoyed this, I will make a part 2 and I will go back and answer all the rest of the unanswered questions, or I will make another post and y'all can continue to put all the questions that you are interested in. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any other pressing questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer them on my next Q&A video that we end up doing. That's gonna be it for me today. I hope you found this video educational. If you did not, I at least hope you found it entertaining. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day and an even better life. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, okay? So have a good one and I'll see y'all in the next one. All right. All right, bye.